This is Demi again. We're on the road and we're in beautiful San Diego, California for the, what is it, 31st San Diego Koi Show. This is a club that has been around for a long time. They've got a pretty good following. There's always like new people coming in, so it's always nice to visit the club and be part of the show. But one of the things that we enjoy the most about koi shows is getting to see different places. And this time we have a special guest. Hello.
Stig with us.
Got Stig with us. He enjoys traveling too.
He likes the beach. And if you look directly in front of us, you can see the waves crashing into the beach up there. Everybody's going down there. There's people surfing. It's awesome. I mean, on the way to the show site this morning, we stopped by a great little coffee shop, and they have an amazing latte that's like or not a latte, a mocha, because we love coffee. It's like an awesome bitter chocolate first taste, and it has cayenne pepper in it, so it leaves your mouth just on fire, burning. And I've never had a mocha like that before. It's great though.
So it's always awesome going to koi shows and seeing all the fish that other people have and meeting people from all over the country, really. But don't forget that you're visiting a new place as well. So go out and enjoy and have fun and explore. And this is how we enjoy San Diego. So we're coming into the koi show site, and the show site is at the Del Mar Fairgrounds, and it's big. It's a very large area. And there's a lot of things that happen here all the time. It's also like a horse show ring or races, horse racing, all those kinds of things. So if ever you do want to come to this koi show, you should go in through the Solano gate. They're going to tell you to go through this gate anyway. It's the closest way to get to the koi show. But look for the Solano gate, and you're going to have to walk quite a bit. But it's worth it. It's worth it, guys.
We had more size 8s and more size 9s than we've ever had before, and collectively the quality of that group of fish is the best that we've ever had in 31 years of shows.
Hey, you're at the San Diego Koi Show right now checking out fish.
Yes.
So we'll take you around and
we're going to point out some fish that look cool, caught our eye. Here we have an example of a Deutz Karashigoi. By Deutz, what that means is a scaleless fish. But most Deutz fish have scales typically along the lateral line and up near the dorsal fin. But this fish has absolutely no scales on it whatsoever, making it a very unique fish.
This is a pretty cool Beppu Sanke. We really like how the sumi is placed on this fish.
And the sumi butts up right up against the red in a lot of areas instead of going on the red itself, so it's quite eye-catching.
Here we have a really cool goshiki because the way that it registers in the video is exactly how it looks in person. Both the red and the black colors are really vibrant, and the pattern is very well balanced in such an interesting way.
This show here really caught our attention. It's got a great finish to it. It's really ready for show at the moment.
And I really like how deep and vibrant this sumi is.
We got a very good example of Sanke. The sumi's finished very well. The skin quality is just excellent. And a nice big full body too.
What would you say about, it's got that little ding on the head, and it's quite noticeable. Most likely something to do with damage, like transport damage.
Or it bumped its head on the air stone or something. But typically in a show like this, you kind of factor that in as it probably happened here at the show or maybe on the way to the show, so you kind of overlook that.
So in that example that we saw earlier with the sanke, it's a really good example of a sanke that's ready to show with really good sumi, but there was a little noticeable ding on just behind its head.
Yeah.
And this is something that it's a
You
risk
try
that
to
you take.
avoid, but these are living animals and they have a mind of their own. So sometimes if you're chasing the fish with a net, it might just slam into something. But
And it's mostly just transport damage. That is really what it is. And when you're judging fish, you kind of do take that into account, that it most likely didn't have that when the owner decided to bring it on.
yeah.
So
And that's just one example. We can show you down here another example of a fish where the fish was perfectly fine when it was placed in the bag, but there was a separate issue that happened, and we'll show you exactly what happened. Follow us. So here we see the tail on this particular kohaku. You can see it's like white, like almost like burned on the edges, and it's very frayed. And this is another case of transport damage. I mean, we know the owner, we know the fish. We spoke to the owner. He actually asked us what exactly we thought was going on here. He said when he placed the fish in the bag, it did not have that, but when he unbagged it here, it had that. So the first thing that popped into my mind is ammonia burn. That's exactly what it looks like. You'll see that happen on the fins, and in extreme cases can happen work its way from all the way from the fins into the bases where like the fins connect to the body, even on like the scale areas. So now I asked him when he got here, was the bag on that fish slightly deflated? And he said yes. So I said, yeah, you have some ammonia burn. And the reason for that is when you seal up a plastic bag and it's airtight, the oxygen in the bag cannot escape. The atmospheric oxygen from outside cannot get in. It creates its own little environment where the ammonia isn't toxic until the atmospheric oxygen comes in contact with it when you open the bag, when you're releasing it into the tank. But if you have a leak, even as small as a pinhole in the bag, while the fish is being transported like that in a small body of water, that ammonia can become toxic and it burns the fins. So whether this will hamper the fish or not really comes down to obviously the competition first, but looking at the fish itself, will that hamper its ability to compete? It shouldn't. As a judge, you should know in your mind that, oh, this is transport damage. I don't think, if seeing the rest of the fish in the tank, there's no damage on them whatsoever, I don't think an owner would intentionally bring a fish that has an issue with it, seeing all the other fish. With that in mind, you think then it's got to be transport damage. So it's just the risks of showing.
So what do you do? What do you do when you have a fish that has been got damaged in a show, and like I said, risk of showing? What do you do about it when you go home or after it's showing or whatnot?
Yeah. So best case scenario at a show where you don't really have your available tools with you, you can add salt to the tank just to help with the stress of the ammonia burn and whatever after effects from there. But when you get home, typically if you have a quarantine tank, you want to put the fish there, salt the water. Ideally, if the water temperature is, you have the ability to heat it or it is hot, that'll help it heal. If not, worst case scenario, put it back in your display pond, salt the pond if there's no plants, and just keep an eye on it. Make sure no secondary infectors come in, and try to keep your water quality as good as possible to prevent any further damage and to promote healing of the fish. It's an actually show-ready fish. You don't see that often at shows in the U.S. because it's hard to grasp that concept. Right. But you look at it, like the colors are all great. The black is thick, it's consolidated, it's vibrant. The red is all an even color and it's bright, it's shining. The white, it's white, but I mean the lighting isn't the best in this building, and these fish are obviously stressed, so the white kind of gets a little dull. But I imagine in this owner's pond, looking at the other colors in this fish, this white is just a brilliant white.
Nice.
When it's not stressed out, when it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
That's another thing you take into account when you're judging in a fish, that these fish are most likely stressed out.
Yeah.
Like you see,
So they're not showing their full potential of what
Exactly.
you would see in the owner's pond.
So we hope you enjoyed our coverage of the San Diego Koi Show.
a little adventure down here.
And we hope you enjoyed the little tips and tricks that we shared with you guys.
Yeah, and the little fish that we thought the fish that we thought stood out.
It doesn't mean that those
Yeah, those aren't
fish,
necessarily the best fish of the show or the worst. They just caught our eye. We thought we were interesting and we
some
wanted to share with
interesting
you.
fish that we thought would be nice to share.
Yeah.
But now the banquet is
Folks,
going on.
so dinner is served. Again,
we gotta
welcome to
go.
the Koi Club in
Dinner
San
served.
Diego.
Bye guys.
I said welcome.